the NBA going into streaming, like going into Amazon, because Amazon is gonna have to come up with their own program, like how TNT has the show with Charles Barkley.
Did you see the rumor that they're gonna try to bring the same program but replace Charles with Blake?
Yeah, I know it's weird, but here's the funny thing, right? They're probably gonna try to do that where, on TNT or Amazon?
I think Amazon.
Okay, so one thing I was saying the last time we spoke is how the streaming companies, they cannot attack or have the new content around the NBA the same way they had it on television, because on television shit was on a channel and people couldn't necessarily, they had to click off the whole channel, right? But now with streaming, you have to actually scroll down and choose it. Meanwhile, while there's like 30 other movies on the screen. So they cannot approach programming around the NBA the same way. They're gonna have to do it very do it very personality based. It can't be like, wait, hold on. Dudes can't be wearing suit and ties talking about basketball. That shit gotta end, man. They wearing suit and ties talking about sports. That shit gotta end. Like, come on, man. Are you selling a fucking car? What's going on here? Like, this is crazy, attorney? Bro. Yeah. They can't take that fucking formulated television network shit into streaming. They gotta end that. They gotta give Gilbert Arenas a bag so he could act a fool with Paul Pierce calling the game afterwards. Or having their own broadcast feed. Yeah, they need to approach it like that. They cannot approach it on some, we're having dudes wear suit and ties and debating. Like, that shit gotta end, man. Like, that shit, like, remember how I told you earlier how I was doing the show and I'm looking at old NBA footage? I saw like a Jordan playoff series with Ernie doing the halftime show. So I'm watching a halftime show, I think from 1991. And I'm looking at Ernie and I'm like, oh shit, this would not work today. Bro, the show was it was so formulated. It was like, oh, this is the halftime show. Like, it was in the suit and tie. There's no flavor. There's no seasoning.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was a bland chicken just sitting in the bowl boiled. Like, it was no spice, no nothing. I'm like, bro, people used to watch this, but people had no choice. There was no internet. There was no Kai Cenat. There was no streaming. There was no viral moments, viral photos, viral videos coming to your feed 24/7. So they're gonna have to adapt, man. Like,
my thing is, my thing is, like, I'm a fan of like Blake Griffin being a TV personality, but I'm not a fan of the idea of like Shaq, Kenny, Blake Griffin, and that's it. Like, if you're gonna bring Blake Griffin, you gotta bring a younger squad around Blake Griffin. Guys who watched Blake Griffin growing up and who could like sit there 25, 26 making jokes for hours.
Yeah.
Because Blake's a comedian, right? So it works. But it wouldn't work if he's with Kenny Smith and Shaq.
Yeah, at the end of the day, but they're gonna have to change the studio. They're gonna have to get rid of a lot of that.
You have to make it young.
Not even young. They gotta make it more personal. They gotta make it more personal, more organic.
Exactly. Because, like, dude, I've watched, like, I think, like, what the thing also, like, Charles Barkley and those guys work is because they're the similar age, right? So those personalities play off well.
Yeah,
and I think with the NBA getting younger.
But Charles Barkley sprinkles organic shit into it. He says really what's on his mind. It's crazy how much power they really give Barkley. They let Barkley on that
he's the biggest star in that show.
Yeah, nationally televised show. Sometimes the way he's talking like he's in a barbershop, or he's talking like it's just me and you with no cameras.
Yeah.
He says shit that
Charles
he should
Barkley's
not be saying.
Like, he's bigger than Shaq when it comes to being a TV screen personality.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Like, I know Shaq, everyone, I remember they gave Shaq the biggest rollout because they thought he'd be like the biggest star in TNT. It still remained Barkley throughout those years.
Yeah, man. Charles Barkley will make...
I think he won an Emmy for it. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll make a comment about Zion. Remember when Zion was going through all those issues with those ladies? He'll make a comment about that shit. Like, that's what people... It's almost, it sounds like a family member who always spits the truth at the dinner table. Like, they need that. It can't be like, welcome, guys, to the halftime show presented by blah, 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 blah. Like,
and he'll curse. You'll be like, yo, this shit corny, Ernie.
Yeah, man. Like, no, Ernie, I like Ernie, but the thing is, I don't really, because now it's crazy watching.
He's a good personality to play off of Chuck.
Yeah, it's crazy watching him back then versus now. Now they actually let, like, you could see his personality. He has a dope sense of humor, making the Rick Ross joke. But back then, yo, bro, they had this dude so airtight. They had him in the Charlie Brown, a brown suit with the brown tie. That shit does not work. But it's not necessarily him. It's the environment, the work environment.
Is that environment? I think once they brought in Chuck, you saw kind of the chemistry turn where they're like, Charles kind of like, he doesn't really need Warner Brothers as like Ernie did, but you also see he's like, yo, this guy's funny, he's charismatic, and you saw Ernie kind of play kind of like the bad cop with Chuck. Chuck will say something wild about a player, Ernie will be like, nah, Chuck, like kind of like gaslighting him to say more, but also kind of playing like the good cop, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like a person who changes the environment, the workplace, like Ja Morant. We never saw the Grizzlies dancing. Now the team, when they came out the tunnel, they're doing viral dances. We never seen the Grizzlies do that shit. But Ja Morant is the one that kind of created that atmosphere because he has the power to do so.
Nets that one year? Yeah. You remember Brooklyn Nets that one year?
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets dancing like that. Yeah, it's the personalities. Like, it's like they have to be more organic. This whole like formulated television have to be perfect all the time. When you see Shaq run at the Christmas tree and falls on the floor, that shit is fucking beautiful, man. It's like it's
even
more
the Shaq and the Fool. The Shaq and the Fool was funny.
Yeah, they need that, man. Like but they cannot come into streaming with that 1920s television mindset. Like I'm talking about the programmers, whoever's like directing these shows. Streamers. Yeah, they gotta take from someone, gotta master the television world the way it is now and the streaming world and kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah,
they gotta meet in the middle where they could have a game where Paul Pierce might be a little bit lit off the yak. You don't see him lit, but you know that he's lit and he's saying some crazy shit and everyone's laughing. You need to have that type of environment. You can't be like, this is the halftime show presented no one's gonna,
because I think like
no one on a streaming platform is clicking on that.
And let's be honest, like these shows are made for a casual audience who likes those kind of jokes. Like Charles Barkley most of the time doesn't even really talk about basketball.
Yeah, but so funny. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people tune into that NBA show. They don't even watch the games. They just tune into that late night show, because sometimes that show lasts an hour after the game ends. Like it lasts a long time. Like they're running ads. They're still talking. They're not even talking about the games no more.
No, they're just laughing about golf or like in a celebrity or whatever. Like,
that's the way it should be. But again, I can't wait to see how Amazon attacks this, because look at in football, Peyton Manning.
Well, they own.
Look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the darling of football, right? You know what I mean? Companies try to give him a job to be an announcer. What he did? Nah, I'm gonna be here on the couch with my brother. We're gonna crack jokes. Like he found his own lane where he calls the games. Now he's calling the games from his house. He might have a friend over. They're chilling.
He's a comedian. He's funny.
Yeah, he's not trying to be in that corporate environment all robotic. He was like, bro, I was robotic the whole time I was a captain of the football team. You think I want to spend my next couple years being robotic again? Like, come on.
I wanna have fun.